Welcome back to The Cellar. Now, for today's video, I want to give a little extra warning. The footage included with today's stories are not for the faint of heart. Each year on January 19th, Russians celebrate the holiday of the Epiphany, which commemorates the baptism of Jesus in the River Jordan by dipping into frigid rivers, ponds, and lakes across the country. According to tradition, one must dip below the water's surface 3 times to symbolize the Holy Trinity. This first story takes place on a cold, dark night. It was Wednesday, January 19th of 2022, in the small village of Vera, which is located just south of St. Petersburg, Russia. A 40-year-old lawyer named Anna Uskova and her husband Yuri were both taking part in the long-practiced traditions associated with the holiday of Epiphany. For this year's celebration, the decision was made to take the icy plunge in the rather dangerous Oredez River. Now, to give context, this tradition is practiced yearly, and a majority of the time it is done in a safe manner. As you can see in the picture, these holes are cut into the ice, and in a lot of cases, stairs are utilized to help people get in and out. Also, depending on the situation, some folks taking the plunge will wear a rope to ensure nothing goes wrong when they go under the water. For Anna and Yuri, a night of celebration would quickly turn into a straight-up nightmare. It was -5 degrees Celsius or 23 degrees Fahrenheit. As you see in the video, despite the frigid temperature, Anna was dressed in a one-piece black swimsuit. As she prepares for her jump, she can be seen making the sign of the cross, after which she takes a step, plugs her nose, and proceeds to dive feet first into the dark water below. Now, I want to warn again that viewer discretion is advised. I will play the video in its entirety, but it is not for the faint of heart.
Ребята, ушла быстрее! Быстрее, все сюда! Все сюда! О! Туда, Юра, Юра, туда!
As you can see within the video, within seconds of Anna taking the plunge, an attendant calls for help. You can then see what is believed to be Anna's husband Yuri go running into the water in an effort to rescue his wife. The most heartbreaking part of the entire video is the sound of the kids crying out for their mama as attempts to locate Anna turn up nothing. Following the incident, rescue divers would arrive on scene in an effort to locate her body, but after numerous searches, Anna was unable to be located. It was reported at the time that the river's current was moving at a rate of 10 feet a second when Anna jumped in. In what seems like a millisecond, the current pulls her away from the hole in the ice and down the dark river. There simply was no chance of rescue from the moment she took that fateful jump. It wouldn't be until 9 days later, on January 28th, that Anna's body would finally be located. According to all reports, the body was found 150 meters from the Rozdestvensky Bridge downstream, a full kilometer, or a little more than half a mile, from the ice hole. My deepest condolences go out to her entire family, as no one should have to suffer such a horrible fate. Rapper XXXTentacion, his real name Jase Onfroy, grew up in Pompano Beach in Lauderhill, South Florida. There, he bounced around living with his mother and grandmother. At a very young age, he was caught up in numerous violent situations. He was quoted as saying, "I've been fighting since I was a kid." At only 6 years of age, he tried to stab a man who was messing with his mother. He would go on to be expelled from his first middle school for constantly fighting. As his teenage years rolled around, he developed a passion for music, being initially drawn to nu metal, hard rock, and rap. He would try to teach himself guitar and piano while in middle school. His aunt and mother would eventually sign him up for chorus, but as with most things in his life, he would get kicked out of chorus due to punching a fellow classmate. In 2013-2014, during his high school days, XXXTentacion would go on to spend around 9 months to a year in a juvenile detention center for gun possession charges. In March of 2014, he would upload his first song to SoundCloud. The track is called Vice City. From there, most of 2015 was spent writing, recording, and releasing new music, until he would sadly once again slip back into the criminal world he just didn't seem to be able to fully escape. By November of 2015, he would be charged for committing home invasion. By December 31st of 2015, his first big single, Look at Me, would appear on SoundCloud. As success would come over the next few years, so would more trouble within his personal life, as numerous charges would be levied at him from numerous girlfriends and ex-girlfriends. In August of 2017, his song Look at Me would go on to be certified platinum, and in March of 2018, XXXTentacion would release his second studio album. It would debut at number 1 on the Billboard album charts, but despite the rise, XXXTentacion can't seem to stay out of trouble for very long. The video you are now about to see is from June 18th, 2018. XXXTentacion would wake up early on this day and play video games. He eventually made plans and traveled to a Bank of America to withdraw money. After withdrawing a substantial amount of money, he headed over to RIVA Motorsports, an upscale seller of motorcycles and boats that's located in Deerfield Beach, Florida. Now it is believed that the large withdrawal made was seen by a few onlookers who then followed him to the bike shop. The name of the men who followed him there are Dedrick Williams, Robert Allen, Michael Boatwright, and Trayvon Newsome. As I play you all the video of what transpired next, I want to remind you all once again that viewer discretion is advised. Now, as you can see in the video, as XXXTentacion left the dealership, he entered his black BMW i8. As he began to drive away from the dealership, the SUV drove in front of his car, blocking his only exit from the dealership. Newsome and Boatwright would proceed to exit the vehicle and begin the robbery with firearms in hand. A struggle ensues in which Boatwright and Newsome both punch Tentacion several times. Amid the chaos, XXXTentacion's step-uncle is seen fleeing from the car, leaving the door wide open. As the struggle progresses further, Newsome then runs to get into the now open passenger side door. Newsome enters the passenger side of the vehicle and steals the Louis Vuitton bag, which has the $50,000 in cash inside it. Despite the robbery seemingly being over at this point, Boatwright would take a few steps back from the vehicle. With his gun in hand, he looked XXXTentacion in the eyes and fired multiple shots, ending his life instantly. Following the robbery and murder, all 4 men would be apprehended and taken to trial. Michael Boatwright was sentenced to 2 consecutive sentences of life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus another 30 years consecutive for other charges. Trayvon Newsome was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Dedrick Williams was also sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And lastly, Robert Allen was sentenced to 7 years in prison with credit for time served, plus a consecutive 20 years probation. At the end of the day, a young, talented life was taken far too soon. For XXXTentacion, no matter the success, was never able to separate himself from the troubled life that consumed him from early childhood. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoy the content, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel continue to grow. Also, you can check out the description box below and find a link to my merch store. Tons of awesome designs, and the proceeds help fund the channel. I also just started a new membership tier for the channel. It's $2.99 a month and comes with some pretty cool perks. So if that interests any of you, then please go ahead and check it out. Also, if you'd like to submit a real-life scary story that you would like featured on an episode on the channel, please do so using the email linked in the description box below. As always, I do all the research, writing, recording, and editing for the channel myself, so anything you do to support the channel is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you all again as we head back into the cellar.